Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your early morning stretch and mobility. My name is Adrian. Those watching this later on YouTube, thank you so much. Today we're going to do a little bit of everything. We'll be using a roller, a peanut, which is just two balls taped together, or you can buy one pre-made, and then a just single ball. Could be tennis, hockey, golf ball if you're brave, whatever works. Let's get started. So here we're going to start off with a roller. We're going to go for just a nice, easy chest stretch. Just working on our shoulder mobility, our chest mobility, and our overhead range of motion. So here, I want you to align your tailbone, your shoulders, and your head, all in alignment. Then from here, your palms are face up. If you don't have a roller, that's fine. You can do this on the floor, just go into a slight hip bridge. So you can do this on the floor if you don't have a roller. Palms face up and just slowly opening up. We're just gonna wake up our chest, wake up our shoulders, kind of wake ourselves up, period. If you haven't had your coffee yet, that's fine. We're gonna try to not to fall asleep. We're gonna try to just wake up, mobilize, get blood flow to our posture and all those little muscles that contribute to it. So about 15 seconds here, just nice, easy, slow breaths. We're gonna use the roller to kind of just wake up. After that, we'll get into the fun stuff with the ball. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. From here, we're gonna turn the roller sideways. We're gonna warm up our back. So now that our chest and shoulders are warmed up, we're gonna turn the roller sideways. We're gonna hug ourselves as best we can, or we can put our hands behind our head. And we're going to just roll up and down like this, just warming up our back. Again, we're trying to just get blood flow, just get the general broad massage going on. If you find your neck or shoulders have a hard time, you can just hold your own head up with your hands to assist if you find that holding your own head up causes strain. Again, the goal here is to just get everything moving. If you're feeling strain already, consider supporting yourself with your hands. And all we're doing here is just warm it up. Keeping everything going. Slow, deep massage. Again, going for broad strokes here. It's kind of big, deep massage. About 5 more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. From here, we're gonna go for the quads. Another very big muscle group just to warm up our legs. So start just above the knee. Keep your core engaged by going to a plank position on your elbows, on your wrists, and just rolling back and forth along the quads. You know, kind of doing just the big muscle groups, big rolling, big portions of our body are being rolled, just to kind of get a little more blood flow. And of course, for those who are attending live, if you have any requests, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm always open to anything and everything you guys want to do for a particular body part. If you're not sure, just request it anytime. Would be here for about another minute, so really take your time. If you want, you can also turn your feet out or turn your feet in 45 degrees, depending on where you're tight. And our goal is just to wake up our quads, kind of get blood flow to the biggest muscle group in our body. Keep everything moving. About 20 more seconds, just really slowly rolling through whatever you got going on. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Now that we're a little more awake, I'm just going to check for some requests. There are none. Okay. Just quickly check this here. Shins. All right, let's move on to our shins. So we're going to place one knee on the roller. We're going to cross our shins. We're going to try to target the outside of one leg. So I'll demonstrate. So with our shin bone in the middle, we're going to target the outside. The way we do that is we put one leg on the roller, we cross our shins, or sorry, cross our calves, lean over to that same side, and then roll back and forth. So if my right leg is on the roller, my hips are leaning towards the right. I'll show you from the top down view. So here, my right leg is on the roller. I'm rolling back and forth with my hips on an angle, so I'm targeting the outside of my shin. Now this is a pretty rough one. Do your best not to clench your face, clench your fists, clench your toes. Try to just really work the outside of that shin. We're gonna breathe through your stomach the whole time. Take it as slow as you need to. About 10 more seconds on this side, rolling those shins. 3, 2, now switching sides. So cross your legs the other way. Now for me, my left shin is on the roller, and my hips are gonna go towards the left. I'm gonna roll back and forth like that. I'm gonna turn to the side. If you find this too aggressive, you can keep your other leg down, just so you don't bear as much weight on that leg, and still do the same range of motion. If you find it too aggressive, again, put the other leg down, so your weight's being evenly distributed across your feet. Feel free to take it as slow or as intense or as easy as you like. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, by request, we're going to do our IT bands. This is one you can definitely roll occasionally, but this is not something you want to roll like every single day. It is a big structural component of our posture. So the way we do this is we're going to first sit on your roller. Then you're going to turn yourself to the side. You can either choose one leg to support you behind or one leg to support you in front. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do it in front, but you do whatever feels comfortable. And from here, starting from the side of our hip, we're going to roll and kind of walk our hands over right to the side of our knee and then right back. So to be here for about 30, 35 seconds, maybe even longer if you want. And we're going to take it slow right along our IT band. Now, if you're particularly tight, or if you find your IT band is so tight that your foot actually rotates out when you walk, or you walk with kind of like your feet splayed out, feel free to roll it, kind of loosen it up a bit so you can adjust, but avoid doing this, every single day for like 5 minutes. It is a structural component that you can loosen. You don't want to like annihilate it. That's all. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. So going on our side, you can put your foot in front or foot behind. Doesn't really matter. So on our side, for me, I like to put my foot in front, but everyone's different. And rolling up and down. And rolling that IT band right along the side. Once again, if you're doing this at home alone, afterwards, and you really want to kind of hold each one for a little longer, try not to go longer than like 2-3 minutes, because you don't want to bruise the muscle. There is a limit. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Now that we're all awake from the roller, kind of rolled our general extremities, we're going to switch over to the ball. We're going to target our glutes, always a favorite. We're going to go for just a regular glute first, so kind of just a broad strokes area, kind of just a broad surface. Then we're going to go for the specific attachment point where the glute comes into your low back. So we're going to take our ball. We're going to sit on one side. And from here, whichever side you're sitting on, that same leg, that same ankle is going to go on top of your other knee. So let me demonstrate. So 1 foot down, the ball's under my left glute. My left ankle is going to go on my right knee. And I'm going to roll and really dig in right into that glute. Now, remember to breathe through your stomach the whole time. Taking slow, deep breaths, really digging into that glute. About 25 more seconds here. Just taking our time, really digging in. If you want, you can hold a particular spot like I am, or you can go in big circles, whatever works for you. Almost there, 7 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Other side here. Okay. So here, just digging in right into that kind of broad glute muscle for the next 35 or 40 seconds. And after this, we'll go into the specific attachment point because our glutes go all the way from our low back into the back of our thigh. And for me, I like to hold in a particular spot and like really sink in. But if you want to go back and forth, that's fine too. So at 50 more seconds, taking your time. Digging into whatever tender spots you got. 10 seconds, 10, 9, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, next we're going to go for an attachment point. I'm going to show you standing briefly just to show you where to place the ball, but you'll be lying down. So where you put it, those who are watching this later on YouTube as well, or who don't take my classes frequently, find the middle of your low back. Then we're going to start an inch to the right with the ball in the top right corner. So not at the flat of your low back where it's kind of hard and bony. You want to go just maybe an inch or two below, right where your glute or your cheek begins. So it should be a bit squishy. Remember, you're right in that top left corner of your right glute. So we're going to lie face up and place the ball right there. Of course, for those who are watching live, if you have any requests after this, feel free to make them. Doesn't matter to me what we do, as long as you feel a good stretch and a good release. All right, so right cheek, right glute, top left corner. Here we're going to go back and forth. Just slowly pushing through that heel and lifting up, pressing through that heel, lifting up. We're going to be here for about 25 seconds. Take your time. If you want to hold in a particular spot, that's fine too. If you find one angle is particularly sensitive, feel free to work through it. If not, just slowly work through whatever you got going on. Once again, we're in the top left corner of the right glutes. We're still on our right side. We're just close to the tailbone in the upper left corner. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now 2 inches to the right or 3 inches, depending on your low back size. We're going to work in the top middle portion of the glute. So slowly working through. Breathing in, breathing out. So here, my left hip is actually off the ground a little bit. You can do this fully lying down, but I feel like you don't get as much oomph. Try to take your left hip, lift it off the ground, maybe just an inch, like just enough to shift the weight a little bit to your right and work that heel back and forth. About 20 more seconds. Think slow, deep breaths the whole time. And 3, 2, 1, easing off. Now we're going to go in the top right corner of the right glute. So it's going to feel like we're almost behind your pocket. If your pants don't have pockets, pretend they do. We're going to be in the top right corner of the right glute. So it's going to feel like we're right behind our pocket. We're going to lean over. Now my hips are at 45 degrees. So my one hip is down, my one hip is shooting out at a 45-degree angle, and really working back and forth right along that upper right corner of my right glute. Now, of course, if you find this too much, you can just kind of ease off a bit or just hold it at one spot. That's fine. And about 15 more seconds. Think slow, deep breaths the whole time. And 3, 2, 1. Whew, easing off, other side. So now we're in the top right corner of our left glute. So again, we want to be an inch to the left of our tailbone. Our low back can be flat on the ground. We're going to take our left heel, press it forward, bring it back. Taking slow, easy movements. About 35 more seconds. Really taking our time. Slowly working in. Pressing into that heel, letting the knee come back to our chest. If you want to hold it in a particular angle or a particular spot, that's fine. And 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Now 2 inches to the left. So we're in the top middle portion of our left glute. It can be 2, 3 inches over. Everyone's size is different. Find what works for you, whatever puts you in the top middle portion of the left glute. Could be 1.5 inches, could be 3 inches. Just top middle portion of your left glute. Everyone has different proportions. About 15 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. From here, top left corner of the left glute. So now we're going to be behind our left pocket, or it's going to feel like we are. I actually want to lean my hips about 45 degrees over. So my right glute is fully off. Now I'm on the top left corner of my left glute. You may notice one side's a lot worse than the other. For me, my left side's a little tighter, but everyone's different. Work through whatever you got. If on your own time, either in class or later if you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to stay a little extra in a particular spot, feel free to. Again, it's your time. Should be here for about another 40-ish seconds. Feel free to pause the video and do a little extra if you feel like it. That goes for anything we're doing today. And 5, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Whew. That was a bit tough in the glutes. We're going to take a little bit of a break from our big muscles. We're going to go for our feet now. Just a little bit of foot action. Now I'm going to use a little cross ball, which doesn't really compress. It's going to be a bit rough for me, but you can use whatever you have. Lying around, I'm actually going to quickly check for requests. Nope, no requests so far. All right. So once again, for those who are here live, feel free to make any requests. If you have any body part you want to work in particular, let me know. So here, starting underneath our big toe, we're going to roll right along the arch of our foot. I'm going to show you from the side. So big toe, rolling right along the arch, things slow traveling across. Now, if you want, you can also angle your foot. So for me, instead of a neutral foot, I can actually angle it so it's at a 45-degree angle and working the arch a little more directly. And I do see a request. Sure, we can definitely do some upper traps and neck. We'll do that closer to the end. It's a little more relaxing or sleep inducing. So rolling right along the arch here. 3, 2, 1. Now the center of our foot. So here, planting our heel. Now it's between the balls of our feet, and our goal is to roll right along the center of our foot. Now, if you're able to compress the ball you have, if it's like a tennis ball or a yoga ball that has a little more squish to it, but if you're to compress it and like really, as if you're trying to drag it along the floor, or trying to like smear it across the floor. Try to go for that motion. If you have a golf ball or a hockey ball or a lacrosse ball like I do, you can't really do that, but do your best to just slowly roll across. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. So big toe, heel planted, working right along the arch. Right along here. If you want to angle your foot so your big toe points down, your pinky toe points up, that's fine too. Think slow movements the whole time. About 10 more seconds, and we're going to switch to the middle of our feet. For those watching us later, for those live, for the neck portion, which we'll do closer to the end, we will need a yoga block. You don't have to have one, but it helps. So to think about where you have one. If you have one nearby, great. But if you don't, consider reminding yourself of where it is. And 3, 2. Now the center. So heel planted between the balls of our feet, rolling right along the center line of our foot. And 3, 2, 1. Easing off. All right. Next, we're going to do a bit of some static stretching. We're going to do a little bit of a lower body groin release. So starting off here, we're going to go into a just a wide stance. And we have 2 ways to work our kind of inner hamstring and groin. We can do it standing like this, or we can go way down to the ground, which I'll demonstrate in a second. But I'm going to show you standing first. So feet nice and wide, shoulders back. Whichever leg we're targeting. So for me, I'm going to target my right leg. It may look like my left to you. But my right leg, I'm going to lean towards my left. I'm going to actually point my toe towards the sky, and I'm going to try to turn away while I keep my heel planted, and I'm going to stretch the inner groin and inner hamstring. Now, if you want to go a little more aggressive, or just if going lower works for you, this works for me. Everyone's different though. I like to go down right to the ground. My heel is anchored, and I'm going to try to rotate my other knee away, and my torso and my hips away too. So I'm trying to basically rotate my hips so they're facing the camera, but my toes stay pointed up and my heel is planted. I'm not trying to rotate my feet in to adjust with me. My feet are actually going straight up. And for me, I feel a deep stretch in the groin here. Everyone's different. If standing works better for you, go for it standing. We're trying to go for the inner hamstring. You're going to feel it right along, just almost like the inner half of your of the back of your thigh. Maybe you're for about 10 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and switching sides. So again, if standing works for you, great. For me, going to a deep squat works better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Keep your heel planted, point that toe to the sky, or point it towards you. You can kind of like point your toes towards your face and rotate away from that foot, but keep it up. Don't let it rotate towards you. Keep it up the whole time. Excellent. Got about 15, 20 seconds left. It's really digging into that inner hamstring and inner thigh. Once again, you don't have to do what I'm doing. If you want to do it standing and kind of lunging to the side, great. But for me, this works the best. So you do whatever works for you. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Now slowly easing back to center. Now we're going to go for just kind of like a double groin stretch. Fear it as wide as you can, or as wide as you're comfortable, and fold yourself towards the floor. Now we're kind of doing both at the same time. Especially when you're doing a lot of sitting, it's good to open up those inner groin muscles. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to ease down. We're going to go for a 4th groin stretch. You can never do it enough. Feet together, shoulders low, leaning forward. This one should actually feel a bit easier now that we've done all those previous ones. You may go a little further than you're used to on this one. So feet together, knees pushed down to the ground, pulling in as best we can. And you're trying to get your knees nice and low to the ground too. And if you notice a little bit of improvement from the previous stretches, great. If not, that's okay. The hardest part about stretching is not the stretching, but doing it consistently. That's the hardest part, even for me. All right, and of course, if you want to do any of the previous stretches, you absolutely can. You do whatever works for you. There's no specific program that's going to do one thing amazingly. The best way to stretch is to stretch consistently. That's the secret. There's no one stretch that's going to fix everything. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go for a 5th groin stretch because why not? We're already here. We're going to go nice and wide, and we're just going to reach forward. Now, this one I'm particularly bad at, but we're going to go for basically what's called the pancake stretch. So nice and wide, try to fold ourselves over. This I'm not particularly good at. So try to reach forward as best you can. If you do nice and wide, if you want to deepen it, try to point your toes up and just really reach forward. The key part here, though, is make sure you're not overdoing your low back. You want to focus on the groin. If you get a little bit of a low back stretch, that's okay, but do your best. Just trying to reach over. Here it as wide as you can and reaching forward. Now, this is one I need to work on consistently. Speaking of consistency. All right, about 10 more seconds here. Trying to just fold forward as best you can. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to give our groin a break. Kind of shake it off because that was a lot. We're going to go for a little bit of low back and hamstring stretches. So here we're going to lie face up. We're going to put one leg out, one leg up. Whichever leg is up, I want you to grab it with the opposite hand and pull it across your body. So for me, my left leg is up. I'm going to take my right hand, pull it across my body, stretch onto my left glutes and a little bit of my low back. So now we did a lot of the inner portion. Now we're going to do a little bit of the outer portion. Put 10 more seconds here. 10, 9, 8. And 3, 2, 1. Slowly easing off, other side. See my right leg, pulling with my left arm. I'm trying to stretch across my right glute and low back. You may hear a crack like I just did. That's optional. If you don't hear a crack, that's fine. In fact, don't try to seek one out. Just if it happens naturally, great. But you don't get any benefit from trying to push till you hear one. So again, go within your limit. 12 more seconds. 12, 11, 10. And 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Now to the glutes there. Now we're going to go for what's called like the half pigeon pose, I think, in yoga. For me, just a glute stretch. We're going to put our leg parallel to the edge of the mat as best we can. I'm actually going to switch sides when I do this. So here, leg parallel to the edge of the mat. Going for that deep glute stretch. We're gonna actually sit this one in for closer to 50 seconds. It's a little longer. So just sink down and really stretch right across the glute and piriformis. In about, again, 40 more seconds here. Taking our time. Take slow, deep breaths. After this, we'll do some upper body mobility. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching legs. So here, just coming up, bringing the other leg parallel to the edge of the mat. I'm trying to sink down into our glutes. You may notice one side's a lot easier than the other. Everyone's different. Do whatever works for you. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Quick hydration break. Grab a coffee, grab water. We'll take about 30 seconds to shake it off. So quickly check for any requests here. Okay, and anything here? No, just upper body and neck. All right. Sounds good. So once we've taken a sip of coffee or two, we're gonna go for a little bit of a upper back and rear shoulder stretch. So we're gonna need a corner or a wall. For me, I luckily have a corner right here, but you use whatever you have at home. We're gonna take our palm, we're gonna put our palm flat against the wall facing away from us. So my palm is facing away from my body. I'm gonna place that against the wall. Once I have that, my fingertips are gonna kind of wrap the corner. My goal is to rotate myself towards my arm and then lean in the opposite direction. So I'm just gonna demonstrate. So my left arm is on the wall. I'm gonna squat down a bit. I'm gonna lean away and try to stretch across my rear delt. So from the front, I hook onto a wall, I squat down. My goal is to lean and really put the pressure right behind my shoulder blade and my rear shoulder, trying to stretch and kind of hang and bear weight here. Don't bear weight in your squat, bear weight in between. Now, everyone's a little different. If you need to adjust your hand a little higher, a little lower, or you need to squat or lean a little deeper, everyone's different. Play around, see what works for you. So for me, where I feel the most is a little bit lower and kind of really leaning into it with my hip. But everyone's different. Again, if you feel it more behind your arm or kind of in your shoulder up here, adjust it so you feel the tension drift towards the back, towards closer to your rhomboids. And again, you can adjust your angle, you can turn away, you can turn in more. Everyone's different. Find whatever angle works for you. About 15 more seconds here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. So for me, palm facing away, against the wall, grab a corner, and go to lean away as much as you can. And you're gonna feel a little bit in here, but try to reach it towards the back. You wanna try to reach it ideally between the shoulder blade right here, or at least in your general shoulder blade area. You may also feel it in the rear shoulder, that's fine. We try to focus on having it be closer to the rear delt, sorry, the rhomboids. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. So here, we're going to take the ball and we're going to place it similar to where we just stretched it. We're going to take the ball. We can do this either against the wall or on the floor. I'm going to do it on the floor. You can choose if you do it against the wall or on the floor. So here we're going to hug yourselves. We're going to place the ball right between our spine and our shoulder blade. Make sure it's not actually on your spine. You never want to press into your vertebrae. It's a bad idea. You want to stay off of your bones and go in between the muscle, between your spine and your shoulder blade. So here I'm going to place the ball. I'm going to kind of roll it there. And for me, I feel the best release when I kind of do like one target at a time. I really work into one specific area. But if you want to kind of shimmy around, you want to roll up and down, that's fine too. That's up to you. I'm going to hug myself here. I'm just going to kind of work and kind of really sink into one spot. But if you want to roll up and down like this, kind of back and forth, or do that against a wall, that's fine too. You do whatever feels best for you. One thing I'd ask you to not do though is don't go fast. If you're just kind of like squatting up and down furiously, like, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, consider trying to count to 10 before reaching the top of your squat, and then 10 before reaching the bottom. So you really want to take it very slow. So if you are going with a count of 10, you're going to at most squat maybe twice, maybe 3 times the entire minute we're taking here. So for me, hugging myself and kind of sinking in one spot and making small adjustments works for me. So I'm taking it really slow. But if you want to go faster, feel free to go faster. But for me, what works the best is, again, those micro adjustments and kind of sinking into a particular spot and adjusting from there. But of course, everyone's different. You do whatever works for you. So 15 more seconds on this side. You can also play around with the angle if you want your elbow up or elbow down a bit. Again, everyone's different. Feel free to play with the angle. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now other side. Hugging yourself as best we can. About 25, 30 seconds here. Again, for me, it works just one spot at a time, but if you want to use a wall, if you want to kind of squat up and down, that's fine too. But 15 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here to go for the upper traps, then we're going to go for the center of the neck. So for the upper traps, we're going to take the ball. We're going to place it right behind our collarbone or underneath our upper trap muscle. For those at home, or for those who haven't done this before, if you're watching this later, I want you to place the ball behind the neck muscle. It's just above your collarbones. So find your collarbones first, then take your fingertips, kind of squeeze that chunk of muscle that's just above your collarbones. You take the ball, place it behind that muscle. Then from here, you can just stay here if you want without moving your arms, or you can gently make swaying motions with your arm. So here you can draw circles. You can kind of gently just kind of sway your arm up and down. If you want to work on a little bit of overhead mobility, you can just bring your arm overhead and let it hang there. Of course, don't try to force it towards the ground. If you can't reach the ground, that's okay. Slowly sink into it. Don't try to force it in any funny direction. And you can kind of sway up and down. You can draw circles. You can sway side to side. You can kind of draw half moons where you draw like half circles. You can spell your name, whatever works for you. Just feel free to move that arm in whatever way works best for you. About 50 more seconds here, then we'll switch sides. 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides. About a minute, minute 10, minute 15 here. Starting in 3, 2, and 1. Again, gentle swing back and forth, drawing circles, swaying side to side, whatever works. Go for nice, easy motions back and forth. If you want to just hold it at the top and kind of sink there, that's fine too. Go 15 more seconds, 1, 5. And 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. From here, we're going to ease off. We're going to take a peanut if we have one. If you don't have one of these, there is a video on our Boulevard Club website on how to make these. Would recommend. Take a peanut or just two tennis balls. If you don't have a peanut, you can just kind of put 2 tennis balls in a sock to make your own peanut roller. I would place it behind her neck. Now, this is where I asked if you have a yoga block. So I'm going to go grab one now. So if you have a yoga block, definitely grab it. We're going to use it. But if you don't, just the floor is fine too. And so here, I'm going to place the ball on the yoga block like so, just horizontal. I'm going to place the yoga block behind me. I'm going to place my neck right in the center so that both sides of the peanut are kind of straddling my neck. Just like with our spine, we never want to actually press directly into our spine. We want the balls on either side of our neck. And from here, nice, just easy, gentle rolling back and forth. That's it. At no point should you be pressing into the floor. Do not do that. You want to just let gravity do the work. Think just like resting, like you're resting on an uncomfortable pillow, and you're trying to just gently tuck your chin into your chest and then roll it back up. Now, if you want to adjust the position of it, that's fine. Work with what you got. Being nice, easy rolling. If you want to lean a little bit to the left or lean a little bit to the right, that's fine too. All right, about 30 seconds here, just taking our time. And kind of slowly massaging back and forth. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. That concludes our morning mobility session. Thank you so much for those who are watching this later. And thank you everyone who attended live. I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a wonderful day.